So for personal organization, I had a huge reorganization of all of my personal organization materials and ideas about a year ago when I had decided to pick up my life and become nomadic around the world. I had to have everything that I was keeping on paper. I had to get that all into an electronic format, and I basically had to organize the hell out of myself in a short-term and a long-term strategies for how would I handle things on a day-to-day basis as well as on a week-to-week and month-to-month basis. So previously, while I was living in the States, I was using a weekly, monthly calendar where each 2 pages would be a spread of Monday through Wednesday on one side and Thursday through Sunday on the other. And then after 4 weeks, there would be a 2 page spread for the month of May, say. And that worked really well for me. I had a small one that I could carry with me in my purse, and I would just write everything in that planner. However, once I started traveling, it really didn't work anymore, and I needed to make some changes. So I'll talk about those in a little bit more detail in just a second. So first, I'm going to show you my file system and talk a little bit about my passwords. So I'm actually going to show you that. So this is my laptop and my file system. So all of the documents that I used to have on paper are in either the money folder, which I'm not going to go into because that's a little bit too personal, but I've got folders in there for loans and retirement and getting paid, credit cards, banks, all kinds of information is in there. The bulk of the information, though, went into a folder that I just called Sam because I wanted everything that has to do with me to be in one place. So I made some folders that made sense for me, and I spent quite a bit of time on this because I didn't have a choice and I needed to get rid of every piece of paper. I believe I carry maybe about 5, possibly as many as 10 pieces of paper with me everywhere I go in a folder. However, those are all backed up electronically as well, because if they get destroyed by water, then there's nothing I can do about it. So just to look at one of these, a big chunk of them go into this important docs folder, which has things about utility bills. Miranda is my old employer. Actually, I still work for them as a nurse practitioner. Some insurance things from my bank. All kinds of things go into this folder. And I really took probably about a week or maybe as long as 2 weeks to really focus on finding different places, finding a place to put everything in here. So while I'm going to open up my browser so I can show you my passwords. I use an app. It's a free app called LastPass, and I'm not going to open it up again because that's a little bit too personal. However, LastPass, it's free for browsers, I believe. You do have to pay if you want to use it on your mobile phone. I think it's $1 a month. And there is a freeware alternative called KeePass. So if you prefer to have a free version, there's also one of those. So LastPass has a secure system where they keep all of your passwords, and you can use it to create randomized passwords so that instead of having the same password almost everywhere, you can have unique kind of gobbledygook passwords that are almost impossible to crack, and you can create a new one for each different site that you connect with. And LastPass will keep all of these in a secure account for you. So that's what I use to keep track of passwords now that I'm traveling. Let's go back to the presentation. So as for staying organized on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week and month-to-month basis, I talked a little bit earlier about I used to use the daily, weekly, monthly calendar. I have now gone to using a Google Calendar and a phone app that goes along with that. So Google Calendar is free. It comes along with your Google account, and this is my Google Calendar. So I've set it up into the middle of the night because I'm sure my boss would not appreciate me sharing our business details about my meetings and such, so I kept it up here. You can see, however, that I have this week set as week 12. That's for my students at the university. This is the 12th week of the quarter for them. So I always set up top where we are in the quarter so I know what's happening with my students. And also, normally I take Mondays off as a rest and rejuvenation day so that I can relax, and I set that to all day, so I make sure that I don't schedule myself anything and nobody else schedules myself anything. So I find this has been a much better way, especially since I'm traveling, to keep track of things that are happening in the coming days, weeks, and months.